So I
you
think
know,
Julia is either asleep or frozen.
So can you hear me right now?
Yeah, we can hear you, so that's
You,
good.
I look asleep and you all are frozen on my screen. Are you two
Ah,
frozen?
no, we are
Okay.
fine with each other.
Well, so I'm going to say this from my sleep state that appears on your screen.
But you look very calm.
Yeah, I'm sleeping, I guess. I don't know. I see that too. Um, what I want to ask you both is, which I just formulated that this is the key question that I have really for both of you, but largely for
Manoli.
um,
no.
Manoli, sorry. Um, what would you change? What do you think is the highest priority thing to change about the way the intelligence community operates in order for it to become more functional and useful?
Well, first of all, I would, I don't mean to be picky, but uh, I would say it is useful and functional. I think the biggest challenge that we have right now, and maybe this won't be a particular novel idea, is, but I think it's extraordinarily important is how you manage the adoption of new technology to in a way that improves the way people process think and the way that the community supports decisions um, in a supplementing way, in some cases, an offsetting way. I think that's something that people don't necessarily like to think about too much, but I think there is a level of work that can be offset.
What do you mean
Um,
by offset? I'm
I
not
think
clear.
there's some
So
Yeah,
basic
I
rep.
don't totally get that either.
I think
Pl-
there's some stuff that the technology can do that people have been doing, and there's some element of that already. And this sort of Turing machine on the edge. I think um, there's a role for technology to offset some of this
it
sort
looks
of
like we
grunt
lost
work. I mean, that's the
Julia.
whole point, right? Like about, well, so hopefully she'll
She'll
come
come
back.
back.
Is a whole the point of using technology to improve efficiency. I just so much of the discussions I've heard with about analysis and to some extent the collections is about don't worry, we still need you, you're not going to lose your job. But there is work that should be offset and replaced
Exactly.
by the
Yeah,
technology.
I
It's just
agree. I
finding
mean,
what those are.
yeah, play around with Chat GPT, frequently, try to explore what it can do. Clearly, constantly improving, way better now. And I see a future where uh, every significant decision maker will have their own AI engine that real human beings, real human brains should help curate, but that nevertheless will be kind of the primary response point
Mhm.
for information issues.
Yeah, and I know you were an early adopter or early user. I remember hearing those conversations when, with or having those conversations with you when it first came out. I mean, I think even in the past week with the Codex and whatever Anthropic's coding tools, they've really gotten good. I played around with Codex, while I was doing something else. I was playing around with Codex last week and developed a prototype of a functional app in about 3 hours.
Yeah,
And it actually does what I need it to do right now. It's not like it's going to go out on, the app store anytime soon and make me any money, but it does what I needed it to. And
right,
I
right.
and I built it just playing around while I was working on something else. So, we keep like hitting these inflection points, and how that is adopted into the community is going to continuously be a question. I think you look at how the Chinese are adopting, even if it's not with the strength and power of the compute and models that are the US is able to provide. It's still like the integration
Hmm.
it is just remarkable, and I think that's also where
We're talking AI now.
yeah,
I know
and
you.
the integration and adoption is really where things are at a different pace. And the civil military fusion in China just allows for that. I heard an interesting discussion a few weeks ago, actually involving, well, it was public. So Dennis Wilder, who I know, Carmen, you know
Yes.
well from CIA, and a couple other people talking about sort of Chinese concepts of AI and the sort of going back into sort of Chinese concepts of cybernetics and Soviet concepts of cybernetics
What
and
does
the
that mean
well,
exactly,
so in this
cybernetics?
context, it's about the role of technology in influencing society, and
Mhm.
I think is maybe a way to put it, and how we talk very much about the Chinese about artificial intelligence supplementing human endeavor, and whereas the interpretation of the Chinese look at it as a mechanism for control. And this gets into sort of historic Chinese Soviet concepts of controlling
Question
society
about that.
and technology.
Sorry, this is a burning question. And since I was asleep, I thought of it apparently when I was out. But I hear a lot about um, the race with China on AI and how there's sort of we sort of lust after their level of control in a certain sense. It feels like, but why can't we? I don't know, maybe we already are, but it seems to me we're not racing towards the same finish line. So it feels like their finish line is using AI to control, just like you said, and our finish line is using AI to enhance human endeavor, just like you spoke. And how about we acknowledge that that's a different finish line and therefore we're not in the same race?